Vanakkam, wonderful to be with everyone today. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we'll share the screen here. Share. That work okay? Am I shared?
Yes, Satguru. Yes.
Okay. That looked a little funny on my screen. Here we go. First topic, Shivathondu, service to God Shiva. Yogaswami gave different people different sadhanas, spiritual disciplines they could follow to make spiritual progress. Shivathondu, service to God Shiva, is one of the two medicines he most frequently administered. Second was Shiva Dhyana, meditation on God Shiva. Let's look in more depth at the sadhana of Shivathondu. Certainly, to be successful at meditation requires one to first excel at the practice of Shivathondu. Many individuals think that their work, for example, being a doctor, has nothing to do with making spiritual progress. However, when we view our work as the fulfillment of our dharma, then it is no longer separate from religion. Of course, we do work to earn money to support our family, but we also do so to benefit society. To encourage this shift in paradigm and his devotees, Yogaswami would frequently bring up the idea of work in conversation. Here are 4 examples from words of our master. Yogaswami would often end dharshan sessions with a devotee or family with the admonition, "Now, go and do your work." Once when we were all at Swami's place eating from plantain leaves, which is a banana, when everyone had finished dinner, a lady doctor who was there wanted to take Swami's leaf to throw it away. Swami said, "I can do my work, you do your work." So he didn't let her throw away the leaf. Third quote, "The hand does its work, the legs its work, so everyone does his work. The trees their work, the laborer his work. The teacher his work, the sage his work. Work is swadharma, following your pattern. God is the great Maharaja, who sits witnessing all this. There is nothing imperfect in the world. Witness everything as God does." And the last quote, "All work must be done with the aim of reaching God." So that's something to try and incorporate. When you're washing the dishes, are you trying to reach God? When we are stable in the viewpoint of performing all work with the aim of reaching God, this naturally leads to a deeper perspective that each task we are doing is an offering to the Lord. Just as placing a flower in front of a murti or a picture of the deity is an offering, each task we do is also an offering. Each is simply a different way of worshiping God, a different way of bringing us closer to God. This perspective on work is known as Ishvara Paranidhana, surrender. Paramaguru Yogaswami once spoke to a laborer who was cleaning the lavatory outside his hut. So the laborer's name is Ramaswami. "Oh, Ramaswami, are you doing Shiva Puja out there?" So cleaning the lavatory is Shiva Puja. That's definitely Yogaswami's perspective. Yogaswami's words to a young man just starting his career were, "You're going out to work. You must dress well and look dignified. Everything should be an offering to God. The world is an altar. The term Shivathondu means service to God. And one who performs this service is called a Shivathondar or Shivanadiyar, which literally means a devoted servant of God. Shivathondar or Shivanadiyar conveys a mystic relationship between the devotee and God, in which all spiritual, mental, and physical actions are perceived as fulfilling the will and design of God. The fact that the institution Yogaswami founded is named Shivathondu Nilayam shows how central this concept was in his teachings. There is an important statement by Yogaswami about Sivanadiyar in his third Nachintanai letter on the topic of Shivathondu. So this is one of my Tamil sentences. Nangal Shivanadiyar, Nangal Sivanadiyar, Nangal Sivanadiyar, Nangal Sivanadiyar. Idu Saraya, Idu Kirya, Idu Yogam, Idu Yanam. Read that too fast. Idu Mandiram, Idu Tandaram, Idu Marunga, the medicine. Now in English. We are Sivanadiyar, we are Sivanadiyar, we are Sivanadiyar, we are Sivanadiyar. 4 different colors of Sivanadiyar. This is Charya, this is Kriya, this is Yoga, this is Yana, this is Mantra, this is Tantra, this is the panacea. So what is Yogaswami telling us about Shivathondu? What does it mean to say it's Charya, Kriya, Yoga, and Jnana? Charya, Kriya, Yoga, and Jnana are the 4 stages of practice in Saiva Siddhanta, and thus refer to the totality of religious disciplines. What Yogaswami is stressing in this statement, of course, is that the core attitude of being a devoted servant of God is the key to making progress on the spiritual path. The core attitude of being a devoted servant of God is the key to making progress on the spiritual path. Second aspect of being a Shivanadiyar is that one regularly performs selfless work in service to others. We have a story on this in our book, Guru Chronicles. Swami opened the path of service to his devotees. Work, 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 serve, serve, serve. He always had a project going, something that seemed like more than anyone or any group of people could accomplish. And he demanded it be done to perfection, never allowing them to settle for second-rate performances. If it was a drama for a Hindu festival, he would boldly offer advice about the production. Swami might even act out parts of the pageant like a director, rehearsing scenes, stretching each participant a little beyond what he thought was his capacity. You are more than you think you are, he would chide. Each one discovered new strength in fulfilling his expectations. A devotee recalls, if you were organizing a feeding for 1,000 people at Nallur Temple, he made sure you had everything planned well so the event would go smoothly. He wanted to know precisely what curries you planned to serve and might suggest substitutes or cutting back on the quantity. 3 curries is enough, he would direct. If you and other devotees were rebuilding a temple that had fallen into disrepair, he would get involved, making sure you rebuild it properly and had the necessary ceremonies conducted for its reopening. He would even inquire if you had provided an adequate endowment to keep the temple functioning well into the future. So he was concerned about endowments. It's interesting. These stories bring out another aspect of Shivathondu, which is doing every task well, which causes us to strengthen our willpower and self-control. Quote from Words of Our Master expresses this idea. Whatever work you have to do it well. That in itself is yoga. The last paragraph of the story brings up another aspect of being a Shivanadiyar, which is to truly feel that rather than I am the one who achieved this, that it is God Shiva who is making this happen through me and the others involved. If a devotee had accomplished something and came to Swami for praise, he would strip him down to size quickly. Sometimes he would ignore a devotee's achievement entirely and quickly guide his attention to another project that needed work, or he would scold. So you think you have put on a good feeding. Was it you who put life into the food? Into those who cooked the curries, who created hunger, who discovered the way to satisfy it? My child, you must not think you have done anything. It is all the work of the Lord. When you know that, then you will know you have done nothing. One final quote from Yogaswami provides an excellent summary of the ideas presented. See everything you see as Shiva. Do everything you do as Shivathondu. Give up this I and mine. And second topic, character qualities from our workbook. Patience, 42nd character quality. How would you define patience? The workbook gives this definition. Patience means remaining composed when faced with delays, time constraints, or other challenges that hinder expectations. I cultivate it by planning in advance and controlling the tendency to become frustrated or upset. The opposite is frustration. And Gurudeva's quotes, impatience is a sign of desirousness to fulfill unfulfilled desires, having no time for any interruptions or delays from anything that seems irrelevant to what one really wants to accomplish. Patience is having the power of acceptance, accepting people, accepting events as they are happening. Kshama, patience, restrain intolerance with people and impatience with circumstances. Take a moment to identify a few ways in which you could improve in patience. And our third topic, we're answering questions. Send in to hindu.org. You're welcome to send in your own questions. It is mentioned in the Master Course that the feeling of being sad or happy is not the nature of your own true self, Atman. But when a devotee in Bhakti Marga cries for Shiva's feet, does it mean that it is the body feeling responding towards devotion? Or is it the Atman who is crying for merging with Shiva? Answer. It could be either the body emotions or the Atman. It depends whether one is in an emotional state or a devotional state. Emotional is externalized. Devotional is internalized. Emotional is out of control. Devotional is in control. Gurudeva explains, devotion is a calm, intelligent expression of love for the deity. It is not unlike the closeness felt between good friends. So that's an important point. Basically, emotion, which is used in religion, we kind of get all excited by an event, and then a few hours later, our excitement's gone and we're back to our normal state of consciousness. It's just a temporary excitement, which Gurudeva is saying there's no reason to go through that. Next question, is bhakti sufficient to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death? That is a question to you. What do you think? Is bhakti sufficient to achieve moksha? Different Hindu denominations give different answers to this question. Generally, it is the Vaishnava traditions that hold this belief. Bhakti is sufficient to achieve moksha. The Saiva traditions do not hold this belief. In Saiva Siddhanta, we need to progress through all the 4 stages: charya, service, kriya, devotion, yoga, meditation, and jnana, realization, to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. According to the Agamic tradition, these 4 categories are the natural sequence of the soul's evolutionary process, much like the development of a butterfly from egg to larva, from larva to caterpillar, from caterpillar to pupa, and then the final metamorphosis from pupa to butterfly. Every butterfly, without exception, will follow this pattern of development, and every soul will mature through charya to kriya, through kriya to yoga, and into jnana. And someone's drawing on my screen. Have fun. The University of Madras Tamil Lexicon has a term describing this exact concept: Nalupada Saivam, a Saiva doctrine that the initiate should pass successively through charya, kriya, yoga, and jnana stages and thence obtain moksha. So Nalu is 4, Pada is stages. So the literal meaning of Nalu Pada Saivam is Saivism of 4 stages. So we need to pass through all 4. And bhakti is present in all of them, but the second one, kriya, is focused more on bhakti than the other 3. A quote from Adi Shankara is relevant on seva work. So work, which is like charya, is for the purification of the mind, not for the perception of reality. The realization of truth is caused by discrimination, not in the least by 10 millions of acts. So we agree with that. So work is for the purification of the mind, not for the perception of reality. So we need to purify the mind, but we don't think that it's going to give us moksha. And then Gurudeva on devotion. Hinduism demands deep devotion through bhakti yoga in the kriya pada, softening the intellect and unfolding love. So devotion is very important. It softens the intellect and unfolds love. So charya purifies, and then kriya softens the intellect and unfolds love, and all of that is a good basis for meditation. So in other words, devotion and service are preparatory to the deeper practice of meditation or yoga and realization or jnana in Saiva Siddhanta. Thank you very much.